This is Talk is Sheep, the official podcast of the Wild Sheep Society BC, brought to you by Sitka Gear. Come along as we bring conversations that matter to you into the high alpine. This episode is sponsored by our conservation partner, Precision Optics. Thank you Sitka Gear and Precision Optics for investing in healthy wildlife and sustainable ecosystems. Well, here we are in lovely Fort Lauderdale. I haven't even had a drink of beer yet. I think
that's a pretty good fumble. Fort Lauderdale, I like it though. Let's stick with that. That's where we're at.
All right, Summit 16, Wild Sheep Foundation in Fort Lauderdale. Greg, good to see you. Good that you can make it down here. It's a long ways from sheep country.
It was a little bit of a journey from Prince George to here. It's complete opposite direction of everything, so.
And a little off the grid here. We're looking out the window right now, and there's boats and water and zero mountains. And where are the nearest mountains from Florida?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We get some wild sheep down in the Everglades there, and they're just fighting with pythons and alligators. So
yeah. So anyway, we're here for the Wild Sheep Foundation chapter and affiliate Summit 16, I think Grace said, or 17?
17.
Okay, Summit 17. And we had a great couple of days of meetings. And you're down here representing Wild Sheep Society BC. Mr. Barker's down here. We had a great meeting this afternoon for the Canadian Wild Sheep Foundation Conservation Committee, which was really cool. And we're joined today by our good friends, Joe and Mike Hill from Washington Wild Sheep Foundation. So, gentlemen, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome. So, obviously, Washington being just to the south of us, there's a lot of collaboration. We've worked really closely with you guys. Landmark this year, the work that we've done together, support you've shown. But before we jump into all that, how did you guys get interested in sheep hunting? Let's do sheep conservation. That's why we're here, right?
Yeah, sheep conservation, but what brought me in was hunting. I mean, Andy Kelso, past president, we shared an elk camp together in Western Washington, and that was a year he went up to a few years of that, and he went up to Alaska, shot a Dall sheep. I thought it was super cool. He was part of Washington Wild Sheep, and invited me to a banquet. Never been to a conservation banquet whatsoever, and went to one. Blue collar worker showed up with a couple $100, thinking that was going to be enough. Found out real quick that wasn't enough.
What year was that, Joe?
Oh, solid probably 2008, 2009.
Nice.
So
maybe a little bit before that too, because I don't even think I was hunting yet.
No.
Might have been 2006.
But it was just,
a while.
Yeah, me and the wife went. We had babysitters for the kids, growing a family. Obviously blue-collar worker, not a lot of financial funds for that kind of stuff yet. But realized I wanted to go back. I want to go to this venue every year, and seen what it was going to take to become to buy or purchase a life membership, or get into raffles, spend more money in raffles that go directly towards conservation. The following year, basically budgeted and said I was going to buy this and I was going to buy that and do this and that. Ended up buying my life membership, which I'm actually number 91 of Washington's 700 plus life members.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I bought that during the pre-event, before the banquet, before live auction, all that kind of stuff. And had an inkling that I was going to buy another one in the live auction. And I happened to buy the one in the live auction as well. And I put my son's name on that. So we are both number 91 and 92.
So for our listeners, who's your son?
My son is Michael.
Yeah, so Mike's on the podcast with us, and so we got obviously father-son combo, which is super cool. I love this story.
Yeah, obviously he'd been coming. I mean, he became a life member of Washington Wild Sheep when he was 8 or 9 years old, basically. Been following me around at these banquets and getting involved. We're a huge hunting family. So that's that early is when I got involved.
Joe,
And,
can I ask you a question? Why? What? So you went there, and you're like, okay, well, I can't afford to buy anything here. I didn't budget for this. So obviously, that's not what drew you. So what drew you back? Like, why were you so keen on becoming part of the wild sheep community, coming back and being part of it?
A lot of it to me was somebody did it for me, right? I've always known that. So whether it was grandpa or my dad or whatever, somebody did it for you, so you need to do it for somebody else. And it's not for your kids or your kids' kids, which would be, my grandkids or whatever. It's for the generations beyond, because somebody did it for us many years before. I mean, we're not doing it off of our grandparents. Mm-hmm. We're doing it off of their parents' parents, but whoever started this way back when. And it's something that instilled in me. And then shortly after, I just got to be a member and do this kind of stuff, but then shortly after, Gray Thornton became president of National, or the CEO, and came to a Washington banquet and was a guest speaker, and proceeded to give a speech about how the sheep live at the top of the mountain, and all the animals, to get to the top of the mountain, for us to help the sheep, get helped on the way. And I can't, not for word, but it basically in that emphasis, right? And that just caught me to the point where if I help with wild sheep, I'm helping with, doesn't matter if it's elk, deer, all the animals in that range. For us to get to the top of the mountain, I'm helping all the animals along the way. And that made me feel like this is the conservation group that I want to be involved with. At that point is when I said, I'm going to become a board member. And of course, I attended many banquets. By this time now, my son is going to college at MSU. Of course, National had moved to Bozeman. He got invited to help down at Sheep Show, and I'd never been to Sheep Show, right? So I've been a board, now I'm wanting to be a board member, and never been to Sheep Show, and my son's getting to go down. Dad, you got to go. He went a year before I ever went. He's like, Dad, anything, whatever you got to do, you want to go to the show of the year, you need to go to Sheep Show. And so the next year, I budgeted to go to Sheep Show. And, of course, once again, you show up going, oh, this is enough money. No, not whatsoever. But after going to Sheep Show, after a couple of years, then I became a board member. And then 4 terms of being a board member. Then I was asked to become the treasurer. And at this day and time, I am still active treasurer. I'm on my 2nd term as the treasurer, Washington Wild Sheep. And in the time, I don't know if I so much roped him in or invited him.
I drank enough Kool-Aid by this point to join as well.
Family's all passionate about it. They see my passion. Obviously, it carries over to my family, but I think it's a opportunity of the father-son thing where, I got involved into it, and when my legacy is done, there's somebody to take my place, right?
Yeah.
In a sense, right? So if he sees how we've done it over the years, and he doesn't just sit back and enjoy the ride. He's involved, but we're in good hands, right? You got to find people, younger generation, that are going to keep it in good hands. So that's kind of been my driving force to bring them in. We've had brothers. We have another father-son combination on the board. Roger Klaus is a vice president, and his son Wayne Klaus is a board member. So kind of one of those. We got 2 father-son sets. That one's an officer. Each of us fathers are officers, and sons are board members.
Super cool. There's a couple things I want to explore. First, Mike, I want to ask you, what drove you to get involved with MSU? So obviously, Wild Sheep Foundation is they market to MSU because Montana State University, they want local people come and help the show in Reno. So they're advertising there. But where did you go? Hey, I got to come and help.
So I was going to school and it was my freshman year, and that's when it first all started. And I was already pretty involved with Washington and helping out their banquets and stuff like that. So I saw, I don't know if it was a flyer or Wild Sheep put it out or something, saying that MSU, Montana State University, was going to start a student chapter. So I'm like, well, I'm going to be a part of that. So I went and I was involved for my time when I was there. I was only there for 3 years. But I got involved and yeah, just basically went from there. We had our meetings over at the headquarters. Got to speak with Kevin Hurley, Gray a lot when we were over there. Really good information I got as a young kid, younger, 18, 19 years old, to kind of point me in the right direction of the conservation world and all the projects that are happening, basically in the U.S., Canada, Mexico, and even overseas. And then I got asked to help down at Sheep Show that first year, and they're kind of going through the list and everything of what they needed, and I actually was helping out with Ryan Brock with the youth program.
Oh, okay.
I was actually teaching the kids how to blow duck calls because I'm a big waterfowl hunter myself. I actually guide up in Washington as of present day. So I actually went and taught all the kids how to blow duck calls for 3 or 4 straight days, and let's just say my ears after the Sheep Show were pretty toasted after that. And that's kind of how I got involved. I did that for actually 4 years after, even when I got done with college, and I never finished college, but because of other things. But I even still helped Ryan, I think 1 or 2 years after I was out of college, because I just loved doing it so much. And Ryan Brock's a very, very big help to Wild Sheep, and he would always email me. He's like, "Hey, you want to help out? You want to help out?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" So that's kind of how lately I've been involved, and now I'm a board member for Washington Wild Sheep, and I think I've been 2 terms now. I think as a board member. Just for Washington Wild Sheep. And I do sit back a little bit. I don't talk a lot. I more take things in to kind of, kind of see how everything's going. There is a few things I do say once in a while, but I kind of sit back and see how things roll just because I am younger. So I just kind of sit back and like, okay, let's see how this rolls, see how everything kind of plays out. And then I'll put my 2 cents in later to kind of be like, hey, what if we did this way? Maybe it's not the old way that we've been doing it. What about we do this new way to see if this will work out a little bit better for the cause? Because we're all here for the same thing. For the wild sheep and for the habitat and for conservation at the end of the day.
Well, that's awesome. Well, whatever you guys are doing down there, and I'm not so sure it's your suggestions or someone else's, but we were at the banquet this year, and wow, hats off to Washington and your team. And I think you're banquet chair, is that correct, Joe?
Yes, yeah. So Garrett appointed me banquet chair 2 years ago. Last year was a little bit of a feet to the fire. I've been involved with the banquet and doing things and stuff, but having the more responsibility and stuff definitely put a little bit more pressure on me. Knowing this last year, which we had an okay year. I mean, it was great. We always raise good funds for conservation. But this year I had a little bit more pressure on me knowing National was coming. It was Glenn Landris's last year with being the board of directors president and stuff. And so I wanted to make sure I knocked it out of the park. And honestly, takes a lot of work, and everybody knows that. Anybody that's involved with any type of fundraising, conservation, banquet like that, it just doesn't happen overnight. But to date, what we have recorded, our best year ever. So super cool. With our limited ability to fundraise in Washington State, we still do a good amount. So what was super neat was we had lots of presentations, one of them being a nice big check to Wild Sheep Society of BC for a cross-border project that was fun to to make happen, to show our membership, be able to show our membership that here's where their money we're raising is going, and because there's a problem. I mean, they just think that we just throw money at certain things, and they need to know that it's actually going towards something that's going to make a difference. And that was super good. Obviously, some of the other things, between the youth stuff and all that kind of stuff, our family's pretty passionate about the youth stuff. In fact, I don't ask for any help on it. Me and my wife just take it on as that's our donation to our chapter, to our membership, that any kid that comes to our banquet is going to go home with something. So I make sure that there's enough items that every kid's going home with something. But I go as high as, I have a little gun, a little rifle, 22 rifle, to a bow, a youth bow, to this year's there's gonna be a little 410 shotgun. Nice. I mean, I got people stepping up now that are willing to want to be involved, and it's almost bittersweet. I almost don't want people's help, because not that I want the glory or anything. It's just been super satisfying to me to be able to make this happen, right? In my way of giving back, in a sense, and maybe enticing, future generations.
Well, you don't have to do this generation, because he's volunteering with Dr. Ryan Brock for 4 years in a row. Yeah, and I was laughing at that. I was gonna, if you weren't gonna bring it up, I was, because it was clear that you were super passionate about the youth concept at your banquet, and every kid in that room. Tell us about what you guys did there. Like, you gave away so much stuff. You said you had 28 prizes and you had enough for all the kids, and that's your worst fear, is that you have 29 kids show up.
Yeah. So me and the wife always we start like right after our banquet. We see stuff and we just pick it up here and there. So it's not like one big cost to us. We pick it up for 12 months. I might even pick something up the weekend before our banquet that, hey, let's throw this in the youth, or whatever. If it's something. And I always buy stuff that will hopefully put the kids outdoors. So whether it's a backpack.
So an iPad, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's iPad.
Yeah. So but the only thing I don't do is I don't do like knives or anything, because I don't want anything where a parent's not there to watch them or whatever. If they got a bow or a shotgun or a little 22 rifle, more than likely the parent's going to be with them. Obviously, the parent's got to be there to take the firearms anyways, but they're going to be with them to assist them and hopefully help them become better at whatever it is. But like backpacks and little tents and game calls and I can't even list all binoculars. I even had a spotting scope on there. I had a rangefinder. It's an endless list. The year before, I was short 2 kids. Oh. And so I took them to the booth and I gave them the youth T-shirts, nice. That we printed up. We printed up youth stuff for, merchandise or whatever, and I just walked back there and I grabbed their size and I hand them 2 shirts. They go home with something, right? Yeah. So this year we were like, all right, we need to, more kids are showing up. We need to get more stuff. And yes, it was one of those, we call all the kids up on stage, and me and the wife know how many items we have down there. And we start handing raffle tickets out to them, and we're like, is there enough stuff down there? Is there? We like our animosity just kicks up right away. But it ended up there. Yeah, it was more. I think it was like there was 22 kids or something like that, and I had 25 items. So every kid got something. They get to pick. So as we draw raffle tickets, first kid gets to pick whatever he wants. Sometimes the first kid doesn't pick the little 22 gun. They pick the bow, or maybe there's a pack that they just been eyeing for a long. It really doesn't matter to me, and we really don't care how they do it. And Michael's usually down, so I have the whole family involved with it. Kathy's up picking out of the barrel, and I'm matching tickets up with the kids, and Michael's down there making sure they get everything that's set aside. That if I had it grouped up or whatever, and so we keep it all involved. Of course, we also have a newer grandbaby too, so our daughter's usually handling her, but my daughter's involved, my son-in-law is involved. In fact, my son-in-law is even a board member. So my whole family is pretty involved. Of course, my wife is also the administrative assistant right now for Washington Wild Sheep. So my daughter helps a lot with computer stuff or design of different things, whether it's our swag, logos, through her Canva or that stuff that Dad doesn't deal with.
Technology.
The technology stuff. And Kathy's very technical. She's a computer person with her job, so works out really well. But it does seem like there is a lot on our family, but it's by choice. It's not force-fed. It's by choice. We've all been in it long enough that we understand our roles, and we just step up and get it done and make it happen. And
So we talk lots about our wild sheep family, but I don't think that's really what we mean. But you guys truly are a wild sheep family. And I was going to comment on that. I thought that was interesting with Kathy is that you went to that first banquet and you're like, oh, I don't have enough money, but I'm going to budget and come back next year. And my wife would be like, no, you're not. She'd be like, first of all, okay, no, she's a pretty good sport, but that's the thing is that your wife's bought in on this too, right? So it truly is a full family. I remember when we were at your banquet back in March, I walked in and Kathy was working at registration, right? And just so involved, and so just truly a family event, and pretty inspiring, man. It's awesome to see, and it truly is a wild sheep family.
Yeah. Proud that, to say that my whole family's involved, but it does wear on us as well too. I mean, anybody that's involved with any type of conservation. And something else that I've always said is people ask me a lot why, and should be a question that you're asking me, is why did you choose wild sheep? I said, well, wild sheep is just what fits me, right? But when people, maybe not even hunters or whatever, and they ask me, why are you so involved? Like people are like, you're going all the way to Florida for a wild sheep meeting? I'm like, well, that's where the meeting is. And
We're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I'm just kidding. We're so glad to be here on the behest of the Southeast chapter. I'm joking
yes.
around, obviously, but
Absolutely.
there's not sheep near. And it's funny. People are like, there's sheep in Florida? Yeah.
But I always tell everybody, I don't care what organization you're involved with, be involved with one of them.
Yeah.
Pick one and be involved with it. If it's wild sheep, if it's Rocky Mountain elk, if it's wild turkey, if it's pheasants forever, quail, whatever, I'm just a believer that you have to be part of something if you're going to take from that resource. Mm-hmm. Whether it's, not that we've taken much from the wild sheep resource, but
you have though, and we're going to talk about that next. So.
but it's not. That's not the factor. It's just be involved with something, because with the wild sheep, it goes all the way back to that speech that Gray gave at our banquet about them living at the top of the mountain, and I'm helping them all the way through. And whether my family's just following in Dad's footsteps and her husband's footsteps, whatever. But I think they believe it too,
Yeah, I think you can't fake volunteering for 4 years for duck calls at Sheep Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And still being involved to this day too.
Exactly.
And becoming members of different states. I'm not just a member of the national chapter of just Washington. It's Oregon, Montana, and a few others, and we'll be BC one of these days too.
It's pocket change. It's Canadian dollars.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
cheap, right?
Well,
We pay you to join.
it was kind of funny because our 35,000 that you posted on your meeting the other day about it, U.S. dollars, and I'm like, they should have done a Canadian calculation of what that looks like.
Yeah, it's about 50. So
Yeah.
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 Yep. And that was the reasoning for that amount, was we wanted to be up in the 50,000 Canadian with you guys. So, but yeah, bittersweet now. I love my position, being the check signer, or the check writer. I'm not the signer. And the treasurer, watch the money, see where it goes, writes the checks, and then seeing seeing it going to places and knowing what it's doing, before I'd vote on it, and that'd be, the end of it as a board member or whatever. But now that I'm the treasurer, and verifying this is exactly what the board voted on, or whatever. So being an officer is a little bit higher up, and don't know. At this point in time, I could tell you right now that I wouldn't step up to the presidency, but
Even though everybody wants you to.
but I'm not going to say it's out of the question. Just not right now. Not if I'm going to be the banquet chair and the treasurer, and take on a few of the other duties and committees and different stuff. But we only have one banquet a year. We do have a summer event. It's usually on the east side of the state of Washington, Ellensburgish, kind of where we have sheep, Yakima, between Ellensburg and Yakima, on the Yakima River. It's just like a summer event for maybe more east side people that don't make it to our banquet, called Bighorns and Brew, and it's usually after their draws come out in Washington, and we invite anybody that drew a sheep tag that maybe don't have knowledge. So it's more of a give them some knowledge or direct them in the right direction of where they need to head or look, or because we usually have enough people there that are knowledgeable enough of where to find them, what to look for. We try to give them some age structure, what they're looking for. Not that all of us are expert sheep hunters, but most of our herds are, we know what the capabilities are. I mean, you draw a Washington sheep tag, you're not going into any of our units looking for 200 plus inches. I can tell you that. I mean, they are Callies that originally came from BC, so.
Yeah, for sure. So that was a good segue into the project. So let's touch a little bit on that and the support that Washington's given BC. So just to tee it up, the Wild Sheep Society BC is partnering with the Okanagan Nation Alliance on the Psoroptes disease issue. So our California Bighorns in the Okanagan region, which is in the south central part of BC, is really struggling with a disease called Psoroptes, and we've seen about 50% decline over the last 20 years. So we're doing these drug treatment trials, and it involves captive bighorns. We've got 27 ewes and young sheep, and then 17 lambs, I think, 10 lambs in captivity. And we're doing this drug treatment trial. So you guys stepped up, but I think the key takeaway here, and one of the things that made it a bit of a seller to you guys, is these are trans-border sheep. So there's definitely some of those sheep have been into the Washington state. How many, we don't know, how often, how frequently. They were obviously captured on the BC side, but there is evidence of some Psoroptes, I believe, in that Mount Hull herd, and ideally these trials will benefit the Washington wild sheep resource as well.
Yeah, that was the big contributing factor to our board in saying, let's be a bigger funder of, step up and fund this big, because whether or not the sheep do cross or they don't cross, I mean, that's irrelevant. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a border thing to us or to me. I won't speak on everybody on the board's behalf, but it's a sheep thing, right? It's a disease that's come about, and you guys have taken initiative to, whether it's trial, figure out what it's going to take to fix it, help it, whatever the case may be. Why would we not? One, we're so close, right? It's no different than doing a tri-state, with Washington, Oregon, and Idaho for the Hell's Canyon herd. If we make these sheep stronger, less disease, they're going to live longer, grow healthier, and reproduce more. And it's beneficial all the way around. Money well spent. Obviously, opportunity, more money if needed. But the bigger picture for me is like, you guys have started something that will help no matter where it is in the world, right? Nobody else has ever had a treatment they might have had Psoroskis before, but nobody's come up with a treatment or a test trial to treatment for a final conclusion of how do we get rid of it, right? I mean, we've done for many years, Miovi, trying to figure that out, and we still are, right? So, I mean, to be partner with something that could be so astronomically beneficial in the sheep world is awesome. And to be partners that are, we're sure different countries, connected by a border and all that, but when we talk sheep family, we're all family. And, you talk sheep dollars, we're talking your dollars are our dollars and our dollars are your dollars.
Well, and the one thing that I always think about is, there's going to be a day where somebody's going to need us, and we're going to be there too, right? And that's the one thing about our wild sheep family is that there's just this consistent support no matter, we typically do an appeal every year. That's pretty common. We've done some pretty amazing stuff like the Nevada drought situation. We saved literally hundreds, if not thousands of bighorns in that scenario. And I think that's what the strength that we have as a community. We do some pretty impressive stuff together through our Wild Sheep Family, Wild Sheep Foundation, I guess, whatever, father, mother, whatever, like the umbrella organization. So, and that's what the summit's all about too, is working together and collaboration. And, we just had this Canadian Conservation Committee meeting through the Wild Sheep Foundation, just talking about the issues, right, and how we can support each other and what we need to do to work together. And, Montana was talking about a fencing issue on our border that, hey, can we work together on it? And we'll probably support that. So I love the collaboration, the working together, and truly it does feel like a family. And these summits are one of my favorite parts of the wild sheep thing.
Absolutely. Second year in a row for me. This is Michael's first year. You could probably get a little bit more take from him as far as, I've been involved, obviously. We had a tri-state. So this is actually my third summit, but what's your take?
No, it's definitely more personable here. It's a smaller group, but you're getting with different chapters and getting to see their side and their issues, their problems, and we get to share. We from Washington get to share our problems with each other, and they give us good advice or hey, try this or try that, and you get to talk to more people and and get more personable with more people and have those people in your back pockets when the time comes, or hey, I got a question, what's up, any of these guys that you can talk to, and they'll give you an answer. They know somebody with an answer, a lot of the time. So it's a lot nicer coming to like these events because it is smaller, and you can kind of talk to one person or two or three people in a little group with not getting interrupted as much at like Sheep Show or at other events, or and have serious conversations about sheep and the conservation side of everything.
Yeah, it's a lot more focused here. Yes. A lot less noise coming from around. You get your hands dirty with folks that are dealing with issues and find out about everybody's problems and get to work instead of drinking to excess all the time. No.
Well, Sheep Show is like, I liken it to a fire hose. You're just like, and then you come here and it's like sipping a whiskey, right? It's like, that fire hose experience is great too, but there's just so much going on that week of Sheep Week, and you're just like, I come home from Sheep Week and I need like 2-3 weeks to recover, man. I'm just like exhausted. And yeah, there is the light night stuff, but as I get older, there's less of that, but still, you're just like nonstop. Like, if you do stay up till whatever, the dark 30, you got to get up first thing in the morning because there's stuff going on immediately, right? So, but the summit's really cool, and it's such a great networking opportunity. So anyone in the Wild Sheep family, certainly if you're connected, your chapter and affiliate in any leadership role, you got to come to it. Next year's in Colorado. Grand Junction, Colorado. So RMBS is holding it, the Rocky Mountain Bighorn Society, and that's going to be a great one too. So it is really cool here being in Florida. There is a new Southeast chapter. Just for the record, I'm founding member number 1. Founding life member number 1. On that note, for the record, folks, I just pulled out my challenge coin, and it looks like Greg's buying some drinks. Joe's got 3 coins and Mike's got 2. Great.
Does that? I don't know. Does that mean I got to buy Joe 3 and Mike
and me 1? So you're in trouble, buddy.
Oh boy,
that was awesome. Anyway, back to Southeast chapter. So a brand new chapter in the Southeast part of the state, and really cool.
but there's tons of sheep hunters down here, a lot of hunters, and it was kind of the void in our wild sheep network. So really excited to be down here with this community, and they've hosted a great summit, and it's been pretty awesome. So, all right, we're going to switch gears. We talk about conservation karma. Any of that stuff going on? Are you guys getting any conservation karma coming back your way?
So, I mean, I can't talk personally. We can talk family conservation karma. I mean, so after so many years, so I'm, involved 10 years or whatever, and I got to the point where I didn't want to be that guy that's involved with wild sheep that had never taken a sheep. So I took out, it was an old retirement from my early jobs that I had that was just nest egged, and said, I'm going on a sheep hunt. Well, in turn, my wife was like, well, if you're going on a trip, then I'm going on a trip. So she planned a trip to Walt Disney World with my daughter, and I planned a trip to Alaska with my son to go harvest a sheep in 2021. Of course, we're full into wild sheep by this time, 2021, 10 years in. Board member, all this and that. I traveled to the North Slopes of the Brooks, full experience, wouldn't trade it for nothing. Kill my sheep on the 15th day of a 10-day hunt.
Second legal ram we saw.
The first legal ram was a one-horned ram that was 36 by 4.
38 by 4.
38 by whatever. Michael's better at them numbers. It was a 2-on-1 hunt. It was me and my brother. And Michael, the outfitter, had offered Michael if he packed the year before for free for him, he could be on my hunt for free and shoot a caribou.
Cool.
For wages. So we made it happen. He made it happen. He went up there and packed for a year, and then Dad shows up, which was super cool for me. It was pretty much like sending your son to go up and do recon and what you need to be ready for, Dad. And
it was, though. I mean, I got the full experience. I did, in 20 days of sheep hunting, I did 120 miles on my feet. So I got to see a lot of the country and a lot of different airstrips. And I got to pack out quite a few rams that year and a lot of caribou. But I got to see a lot of the country, and, I knew coming back, okay, this is what we have to work on. Because my dad actually, and he can talk more about this on him, but he was diagnosed with a pre-diabetic 3 years before this hunt. So coming into this, right before the year before his hunt, he was in pretty good shape. But I'm like, all right, this is what we need to work on. You don't have to go heavyweight, but everybody needs to know this. You got to feed the wolves. You got to feed your legs on these sheep hunts. Your upper body's not that big, important-wise, but you got to work your legs. And that's what we did. We did a lot of road marches, hikes, a lot of leg work, just to strengthen those legs and hips and lower back. Because, you're packing 60 pounds on your back, for 10 to 15 days, constantly doing, anywhere from 6 to 10 miles a day. And you're going up and down, up and down. As a sheep hunter, that's normal. But for us that, hunted elk and deer, day hunting, we've never done that before. I've had a few backcountry experience doing elk and deer, but nothing like that, And it was eye-opening for me because, I've never been on a Super Cub, never flown like that, So flying in and getting dropped off an airstrip, hearing that plane go away, and you just look around, you're like, yep, I'm a pea.
Yeah, you're in it.
Yeah, you feel this small. You feel tiny in those mountains, but you just go. That's the best thing, best way I can experience it or explain it. Just go. Go until you find one.
Yeah, people always talk with sheep hunting well, how do you do it? How do you get there? It's just one foot in front of the other, right?
Yep.
And it might not be as quick as you like, but if you keep doing that, you'll get there eventually, right?
Yeah.
And I can honestly tell you, I was in decent shape, but I've always been a bigger guy. And I was always probably the last one up the hill. Michael, he was in a lot better shape, a lot younger, obviously. I was diagnosed in 3 years prior. My wife said, you can go on a sheep hunt, but you make sure your health is good. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, you're pre-diabetic, your A1Cs are over 10, your blood sugar's 255, you're overweight, this, that, and the other. At my highest, I was 305 pounds. I went on my sheep hunt 215
Wow, amazing.
geez.
in 3 years. Felt good, did good. Got my health back in order to the point to today. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, I just had some blood work done, and my A1Cs are down to 5.9. Lowest I've ever had them.
Wow.
Obviously, keeping in check with my health between the grandbaby and all our plans of additional hunting the rest of at least the few years out that we have planned. I mean, Dad's got to stay healthier and work, not alone just be able to hunt, you know. But yeah, so Michael was on my hunt. He didn't truly get to watch me shoot my ram. It was one of those, I prepared for it, but I didn't expect I would have to utilize it. Shot my ram at 644 yards.
Oh, wow.
Guy told me I missed on the first shot, and I had actually busted him right through the shoulders. He just took it like nothing happened. Sheep are tough. Shot 2 more times, out of bullets. Just so happened the guy's gun was the same caliber as mine. He's throwing me bullets, and I chamber one, and the ram falls off the mountain. Get to it, take pictures, do the whole thing. And my goal, if I shot a ram, was to have my son pack it off the mountain. So
That's a solid goal.
Are you really gonna cry right now?
no, it's just emotional because anybody that's been involved with stuff like that, it's usually that's the one thing that is the glory, right?
Right. Yeah.
You know, get that picture of them horns on your back, right? You accomplished something that you didn't think you'd ever get to do, right? And I wanted my son to be the one to do it. So, lo and behold, got back. Everything's good. Made it home. Everybody's healthy. We continue to go to Sheep Show, and in 2023 Sheep Show, we go to the Less Than One event. Of course, Dad's kicked out now, but my wife and my son are still there, and if there's any event that you do not miss at Sheep Show, it's Less Than One.
That's for sure.
It's the most high energy, excitement, this and that. And we're sitting at a table. Gray's, getting ready to pick, or Maddie's getting ready to pick names, handing to Gray. First name comes out of the barrel. It's a person from Washington. And ends up being a gentleman from Ellensburg. And at this time of at this sheep show, there was 2 Dall sheep hunts and a desert sheep hunt.
3. There was 4 hunts total.
4 hunts total. 3 Dall sheep hunts and a desert hunt. And anybody in their right mind would think the sheep you're picking, first person picked, is a desert, right? So first guy gets picked. He's a gentleman from Ellensburg. He picks a Dall sheep. And my wife looks at me like, is that what he's supposed to? I'm like, oh, that's not what I would pick, but obviously he must need a Dall or wants a Dall more than he wants a desert. I don't know. Maddie, actually, Black Rifle Coffee had underwritten a hunt, and they allowed the wounded warrior that works for him, I can't remember his name. He reaches into the barrel, pulls out a ticket, hands it to Maddie. Maddie hands it to Gray, and Gray proceeds to say it's a woman. Well, anybody that's been there knows that
Your odds just went up real well if you're a woman.
if you're a woman, your odds...
You're like, oh.
Yeah. Okay. And then he goes from Washington. Well, now your odds are like...
Even better.
Even better. And Gray got out about Bonnie, and that was it. And Michael stood up, freaked out, and sure enough, they picked my wife's name. And she was in such awe. There's pictures and everything, but she was in such awe. We stood up. I gave her a hug, and she looks at me, and she goes, "What do I pick?" I said, "Baby, we're going desert sheep hunting."
Yeah.
And sure enough, you may not think it ever happens to you. Your name's got to be in the hat, however you want to put it. But we would have never thought in a million years, there'd be another sheep in the family, another sheep hunter ability to, in the family. But sure enough, yep, I went to, ended up being with Sierra Alamo. Went and talked with them at their booth. Talked with Jacob Artie, and he couldn't believe it was a woman that won. Was super happy, obviously. Immediately started talking dates. Next thing I know, end of this year, can you guys make it like week before Christmas. And I'm like, of this year? Because I know how usually those things work. It's usually a couple years out or something.
Right.
And I'm like, well, he wanted us to come in November.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving time, and I'd already planned. Me and Michael had a whitetail hunt in Kansas scheduled, so we couldn't make Thanksgiving. So we moved it to right before Christmas time in December, and like, yeah, we'll make that happen. And ironically, I'd already booked a elk hunt for my wife in September. So she goes and kills a 396-inch bull.
350.
Or 349-inch bull. Excuse me, 349-inch bull.
Sorry, guys. His memory is horrible.
I had paid up to a 350-inch bull, and she kills a 349 and 6/8 bull. In September, we go to Kansas on a whitetail hunt. We weren't successful. And then December, we are flying to Hermosillo and hunting desert bighorn sheep in Mexico. I mean, it was one of those years I don't think we'll ever top. So yeah, my hunt goes 15 days. My hunt was scheduled 10 days. Kathy's on a 10-day desert sheep hunt. We get down there, welcome open arms, accommodations like you wouldn't believe, treated like royalty. I mean, awesome family to be with. Settle in for the night, go over kind of a plan of what's going to happen the next day, and we're like, cool. Get to see the property and all this. I'm just ecstatic that we're even on another sheep hunt, obviously. I'm just can't believe this is all happening again. And Jacob, when we met with him at Sheep Show, 1 or 2 days, and I'm like, quit, you're just trying to calm my wife down. But we go out, we leave the ranch house. We see sheep within an hour.
Yeah, probably.
Going up the hill, nothing worthy or anything, but just sheep, which is super cool. Seen mule deer and coos deer and some javelina and different stuff, and make our way. And I don't know, 3 hours in,
if 2.5, something like that.
George RT, the guide, stops the truck and says, look up on them mountains. We've been seeing sheep up there. And me and Michael jump out of the truck. We brought our spotters and binos and everything. And next thing the RT brothers get out and they're looking for sheep, And next thing we hear is Kathy, Michael, come here. I think I see a sheep. She spots sheep from the seat of the truck through the windshield. And we're looking close to a mile.
No, like almost 2 miles.
Almost 2 miles away from this mountain, and she spots a sheep on the mountain. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, is everything aligning like no tomorrow? I mean, Kathy's become a pretty avid hunter, enjoys seeing them, enjoys harvesting them, enjoys eating them. I mean, there's nothing more that she much rather eat. We eat wild game 4 to 5 nights a week. I mean, counting the weekends and everything. So out of 7 days, we're eating wild game 3 to 4, 5 nights a week, easily, depending on what she's making. But, spots of sheep. We get closer. We take the road up a little closer. George was like, we probably should make a move on this. Drive the truck around the mountain, come up the back of the mountain, get up on top. She wasn't sure if she was going to be able to do the climb. Well, she did well for about half of it, and then George come down and grabbed her rifle. She was struggling carrying her rifle, and then no big deal. George took it and got it to the top of the mountain, and we got to the top, and George's like, hey, take a break. I'll find a sheep. And he took off kind of away from us a little bit, just over the rise, and I could hear the rocks starting to scurry him coming back. And he's like, here, they're coming, and we got to get over here. So sure enough, I mean, the ram pops out 80 yards from us. And anybody that's caught up in that moment knows that, she couldn't find it. She couldn't find it in her scope. She
It's an absolute shit show when that happens.
Yeah, it's...
Well, it didn't help. He went into some brush, an elephant tree, I believe, and kind of just stood there, and there was 4 other rams with him. Well, he looked off the backside and saw the truck. Well, he went straight away from us up the saddle and then popped out broadside at like 150. And then my mom was able to find it and put a shot into him. And then they all separated. And at this point, he's all by himself. So it's like, all right, take your time, squeeze the trigger. Sure enough, squeezed that next shot off and dropped him right there in the tracks. And it actually took us a second to find him because he kind of went off a cliff. And we all went up and above him, thinking he was up farther, up on the hill, because everything looks the same once you get over there. And sure enough, my dad went all the way around to the next little pinnacle and looked back and saw him feet up in the rocks. So we went down, and everybody else met up with us. There was George, Javier, and Abraham and Carlos.
Yep.
So
Four total.
There were
Sierra
6 people on this hunt, or seven total guys, and looking for this sheep. And it was cool, just the camaraderie, and after killed the ram and everything, and Mom waited for Dad, and I went down to the ram right away, and everybody else kind of got there and took a lot of pictures and video, and I actually videotaped the hunt on my camera, on my big camera and stuff, and I have a lot of memories from that hunt. So it was pretty cool to be on that hunt as well, because it's not cheap, going on any of these hunts. The Alaska deal was a little different, and this one is different too. I mean, pay my way and everything else, but just being a part of a family like I am, it's pretty special to experience, this stuff with my mom and dad. Not a lot of people do. I got a lot of buddies that, they got into hunting because of friends or, uncles or, grandpa or something, and because their dads weren't involved in hunting or fishing, So it's just, I don't take anything for granted, going hunting or fishing with my family at all. So it was pretty special on that. And then just like I did with my dad's ram, I actually packed my mom's ram off the mountain as well. So it's kind of a tradition of ours now. If anybody in the family kills a ram, I get to pack it off the mountain.
Maybe one day you could shoot one too, though. Someone pack it for you.
I'm hoping.
If he shoots his own, I'm hoping that me and his mom can be there, and he'll pack his own. I mean, that's kind of been my thought. I'm not going to. I don't want him to return the favor to me. You know what I'm saying? I want him to. It's his, right? So, super surreal. 4 hours. Kathy hunted one day.
4 hours.
4 hours from the time we left the ranch house till she pulled the trigger was 4 hours.
It's a real grind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been on kind of 2 different types of sheep hunts in the regards of a marathon. And can you believe this just happened this quick? And it was super funny because Jacob was really just joking. Really, truly just joking, and could not believe that Kathy shot a ram in the first day. But it was a ram she was good with. I mean, me and Michael were not going to be subjected to, you need to kill the biggest ram on the mountain that we can find. If you like it, you shoot it. I mean, we're not.
And if the guides say.
Yeah, if the guides say it's good enough. We're not trophy hunters by any means. Mm-hmm. If anything, I'm a meat hunter. I've drawn Montana antelope tags, and I'll go shoot a doe. Not that I wouldn't shoot a buck. It's just I'll shoot a doe because they are tasty animals, right?
Same with me back home in Washington. I'll have an archery deer tag for the west side, and literally I'll wait till December, and I'll go in and shoot a doe just to fill meat in the freezer, at the end of the year.
We may look for, decent bucks or whatever, the whole season, but to allow us to hunt the whole season, right? Mm-hmm. So you're out there every day. You got something that's scheduled with the family that we're going to go out every weekend. And hey, there's a lot of tags to fill in the family, don't get me wrong, but if not everybody has to fill them all on opening day, right? Me and Michael play it out where we stretch it out where, one, we process out all our own meat Like Kathy shot a bull. That bull, I brought it all home and cut it all myself, wrapped it all myself. I mean, we do. She's pretty particular on how her meat's taken care of and stuff. So, but if we stretch it out where we're not killing stuff or harvesting stuff, back to back to back, stretch it out, it's a lot easier. And it's funner because we get to continue to be outdoors with the family. I mean, that's ultimately, my son-in-law hunts, Michael hunts, I hunt, Kathy hunts. Soon the grandbaby will hunt, I'm sure. My daughter will on occasion, but, she's kind of in a big career thing right now, so she's got more concentration on that. She's more of an educator, so, but, yeah.
That's awesome, you guys.
That Kathy wrote a story, the whole bit, conservation karma. That's exactly what it was. The family's been, we feel like it was. We've given a lot. We do a lot as a family, and one of our family members was rewarded. It's hard to not say it wasn't. Yeah. I can honestly tell you that. And I don't take it for granted. And I hope it for anybody that gives as much as us, or even you don't even have to give as much as us. But it's a surreal thing. It was almost like super crazy.
Yeah, there's a family that's built up the karma points. It's you guys. So it's well deserved.
Well, that's awesome. Well, proud member of the Washington Wild Sheep Foundation. I'm a life member. And you guys are doing amazing work. You've done a great job of stewarding the resource in Washington. You got great Bighorn sheep there, and just keep up the fantastic work. For anyone that wants to join the org, where do they go to get signed up? And I encourage everyone that's listening to this to do that. So where should they sign up? WashingtonWSF.org is our website. There's a page on there that you click on. It's a membership, and you can do an annual, a 3-year, a life, or Cascade you have to be a life member to be a Cascade life member. It's basically the second tier of life membership, but you have to have been have to be a life member before you purchase to be a Cascade life member. Our membership is 700 plus strong. Like I said, it's been, a lot of years of building. We do, at our banquet, give away a sheep hunt for people that are in attendance, have registered in attendance at the banquet at the time of the drawing. If you're in the room, you have the opportunity to potentially leave our banquet winning a sheep hunt. Well, you have to be a life member.
But you have to be a life member.
So, for our listeners, I'll tell you, one of the coolest things, one of the funnest things, less than one club is on the same level, but being in Washington, when you guys draw, and Joe, you did a phenomenal job. So Thunderstruck was just rocking out, and Joe was on the mic, and you told me, you said, I learned this from Gray Thornton, and you created so much energy, and people were losing their mind. And the way you did it was perfect. You gave away what hunt was it this year? Was it Dall sheep hunt?
It was a Fannin with Blackstone.
That's right. It was a Fannin, and had my name in there. I bought an extra chance, and of course he didn't pull it, bugger. But it was so much energy in the room, and whoever won it, he was just losing his mind. It was so cool. So.
Yeah, we had a new MC, Caleb Dornkamp.
Did a real good job.
But that is something that has lacked with us for the last few years as far as getting that excitement in that room. For that, I'm not going to lie. I would say 90% of the people that show up to our banquet are there for that.
Is that right? Yeah.
They give. Don't get me wrong. We do a lot of raffles, and we have a lot of guns up for raffle, and a lot of optics and
live auction
gear, and 45 live auction items, and some of the live auction stuff. Gives you. We're supporting different entities of wild sheep, whether it's Women Hunt. There's a scholarship program that we live auction an item that goes towards a scholarship program that Washington and Oregon collaborate on that runs through Ryan Brock. It takes a lot of work to get all that stuff, obviously, but it's super. I mean, you've seen it, Kyle, and I could talk about it, but to experience is the actual way to sell it.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
you got to come and experience it to understand. I mean, there was big dollars spent. 7-hour event, we took in $325,000 in 7 hours. That's not counting ticket sales. Obviously, funds that help cover the banquet to, your net profit of money towards conservation. I mean, it takes money to make money, and we had our biggest event we've ever had historically. That just means, to me, it's our biggest amount of money that goes towards conservation. And at the end, that's what it is.
Inspiring. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. And again, to our listeners, make sure you pick up a membership to Washington Wild Sheep Foundation, or just go to the banquet, check it out, buy a, you don't even have to buy a membership. I recommend you do, and you be a life member so you can win that sheep hunt. But if you don't, just show up, check out the banquet, and hopefully I can make it back this year. I don't know that I will be able to, because it's a critical time, as you know, super busy for the rest of us. What are your banquet dates this year? Second week of March?
Second Saturday of March. So as of right now, it's March 14th at the Murano at Tacoma. Possible venue change, not 100% sure yet. And this year we're giving away a desert. So you BC guys that don't have desert
we got to go,
sheep,
buddy. We're going to Washington.
Road trip.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it, and keep up the great work. And it's truly a wild sheep family. Thank you both.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for everything you guys do for us in BC.
Thank you.